Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming today. Today, we're taking a significant step toward removing roadblocks for people in our community who'd been involved in gangs but have moved on with their lives in a positive manner. We're announcing that 332 people are being removed from the civil gang injunctions that have been put in place over the years. We're taking this action after a careful review by my office, which worked to identify those individuals who have led neither a gang related activity or a criminal activity in the last few years, and I'll share with you the criteria. This was an extensive project. It included a careful review using objective public safety criteria, working with police departments across the county and with the sheriff's department. At the start of the review process, there were 799 individuals who were the subject of civil injunction gang orders as part of 20 different gang injunctions involving 12 different gangs. We initiated the review because we heard from the community about the roadblocks and problems in obtaining employment and engaging with family that being on a civil gang injunction list poses to people who are no longer affiliated with a gang or engaging in criminal activity. I listened with an open mind to respected leaders and faith leaders in our many neighborhoods. Some of these neighborhoods were the ones that were plagued by gang violence and that have helped through their efforts working with police in reducing gang violence. And what we heard from them is that there are individuals that deserve a second chance and that are no longer engaging in criminal activity. After doing this much listening to our neighborhoods and communities, we looked at our mission, and our mission was to pursue an equal and fair justice, and one that believes that individuals who are genuinely taking steps to be lawful, contributing members of our community should be given a second chance. They should not be impeded in successful re-entry by a court order that might be stopping them from getting a job, connecting with their relatives, or moving on with their lives. As a result of this extensive review that took many months, about 332 individuals, that's 42% of the people that were listed in the 20 county-wide civil injunctions, have been removed through court orders that we sought. You see, when a civil gang injunction is issued, it is permanent. It lasts a lifetime, unless someone takes the active step to ask to be removed from that gang injunction. There is a civil code section that permits individuals to apply to be removed from the list based on substantial change in circumstances and the interests of justice. However, most people don't know the relief is available, and even if they knew the relief was available, they don't know how to go about getting it because it involves a legal process. This is why, since the inception of the civil injunctions in San Diego County, which is in the year 1997, only 20 individuals have applied for relief under the law. Like we've done in other areas, it was important that my office take a proactive approach and do the right thing. We worked closely with our law enforcement partners during our review, making sure we're still protecting the public from those who continue to engage in criminal activity that involves gangs. As you know, the civil injunctions were filed years ago in various cities across the county, often in response to communities that were hurting from gang violence. These were court orders restricting the most dangerous gang members from activities like congregating in certain parks, schoolyards, corners, street corners, carrying weapons, and engaging in intimidation. No gang injunctions have been sought by our office for the last 8 years. So these gang injunctions all began in 1997 and ended about 8 years ago, but like I said, have a lifetime effect. The objective criteria we set working with our law enforcement partners that meets the legal requirements for removal under the law and strikes that right balance of protecting the community from gang violence while doing the right thing, they simply make sense. To qualify for removal from the list, a person cannot have a conviction for a violent felony for at least 10 years. They must have remained out of custody and had no criminal convictions for the past 5 years, minus traffic violations, and has had no activity that demonstrates continued loyalty to or membership in a criminal street gang for the past 5 years. After making those determinations, we filed motions on behalf of those qualified individuals. So we took the proactive step of filing the motion on their behalf with the same judges who issued the orders in the first place. That's a requirement that we go back to the same judges. The judges agreed with the motions and signed the orders removing the individuals as requested. Next, my office sent letters late last month to people informing them that their name had been purged from the list. I can tell you that I've already received feedback from several people who were very appreciative that we're taking these steps to help them. Last night, I received an email that really touched all of our hearts that have worked on this issue. The email was from a father letting me know that his son had been impacted by his association with the gang, and it has haunted him for the last 16 years. He'd even moved out of town because of this list, but still it would pop up on his record wherever he was. He wrote, and it's a long, beautiful email, but I'm gonna just quote a small part. He said, "I want to thank you and your team for taking a look at something that needed some attention, mainly because of the lives of young men like my son. My son stated the removal of my name off this list equates to being liberated from an incarcerated environment. It's my sincere hope that removal of these names will support efforts people are making to stay away from gang activity, remain out of the criminal justice system, and move forward to be productive citizens in our community. Unfortunately, many people on the list did not qualify for removal. A review of individuals who remain on the list shows 97 people who had arrests or convictions just in the last year, between September of 2017 and September of 2018. 4 individuals on the list have active warrants for murder. 2 more are currently awaiting trial for murder. And during the time the injunctions have been in place, 32 defendants who are on the list have been sentenced to prison for 15 years or more. I want to thank Deputy District Attorney Bob Hickey, who's the Assistant Chief of our gang division. He took the laboring oar on this project and did a great job working with our law enforcement partners to identify these names. Thank you, Bob, for your hard work. It's already making a difference. I also want to thank the extraordinary organizational support from Paralegal Larry Stone. Escondido Police Chief Craig Carter is also here today, and I want to thank him and his department for their important input on this project. Escondido is one of the jurisdictions that is subject to the injunctions. Chief Carter is also president of the county's Police Chief and Sheriff's Association. He's here today representing law enforcement. Chief Carter?
Thank you, Summer. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. It's an interesting time because the sheriffs and the police chiefs in this county are excited about the fact that we have 40% reduction in the gang members that are on an injunction. And what that means for us is that what we're doing, both in trying to prevent people from joining gangs, is working. I'd say about a year and a half ago, I met with about a dozen women that were in my community, all of which had children on injunctions or on a gang list. And they asked me the question, how do I get them off? And there is a process to do it, but it's a daunting process. So the fact that our district attorney took a proactive step and actually doing that work for them based on what I would consider very strict criteria is a win for everybody. The DA mentioned that we have this as a kind of a second chance, and we as the chiefs and the sheriff in this county think of it as this is a second chance, and what the individuals on the injunctions do with it is really up to them. What we'd like nothing more is to have more productive members of our community. We'd like nothing more than to have no need for an injunction or a gang list, and if individuals that are on that injunction or on a gang list can see this as a way out and a possible plus or positive for their life, then we all win. So a 40% reduction in individuals on the injunction is a win for everybody. I couldn't be more proud of this information, and every chief in the county and the sheriff is on board with this, and I applaud the district attorney for taking the bold steps to move these individuals off and give them that second chance. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Chief. One of my responsibilities includes serving as commissioner on the City of San Diego Commission for Gang Prevention and Intervention. We also have a North County commission that has a similar mission that we work closely with. One of the projects that the commission identified for the city was to look at the validity of gang documentation and related collateral consequences. I truly appreciate the support of the commission on this project. And I want to especially thank the commission's chairperson, Dr. Rodney Hood, and I'm honored he's joined us today. I also want to thank Executive Director Jesus Sandoval, who's a perfect example of the importance of second chances. Pastor Sandoval is himself a former gang member who turned his life around and helps many, many others. I'm very pleased that they're both here today, and I'll ask Dr. Hood to speak first.
Good morning, and thank you, District Attorney Stephan. I want to thank District Attorney Stephan and her staff for taking the issue of gang documentation and civil gang injunctions very seriously. The removal of these individuals has a significant impact not only on the individual but their families. The Gang Commission serves as a facilitator between law enforcement and the community. And in November of 2016, at one of our meetings, some of the public input was surrounding the issues of documentation and the whole issue of gang injunctions. And the commission formed an ad hoc committee to investigate this, and over the past couple of years has worked very closely with all law enforcement in San Diego County. As a result, the agencies voluntarily went back, did a lot of work, and as you can see, culminated in what I think is a great move. We on the commission have taught and encouraged the practice of trauma-informed principles that implement restorative justice solutions rather than punitive. I would like to thank District Attorney Stephan and her staff for this proactive restorative justice initiative that will bring relief and joy to those affected individuals, their families, and their neighborhoods. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Hood. And Pastor Sandoval?
Thank you for all the efforts that are being made to give people a second chance, especially those that have been involved or impacted by gang violence or the gang culture. We appreciate the work of the District Attorney's Office, Summers, the Gang Commission as well. I do represent that population that if you are given a second chance and you have a support group around you that will champion you and help mentor you, that you can actually become a leader in a positive direction. October 16th and 17th, you guys are all invited to come out. We're having our Community Mentor Summit, and it's dealing with people that have lived experience that are transforming their lives, are now helping those that are still involved in that lifestyle. We believe that those that are closest to the problem are also closest to the solution. Tonight we're meeting at 6 o'clock. We have a group called Community Wraparound. If you want to see it in vivo, at 3060 54th Street, you'll see former gang members mentoring active gang members, and it's now a congregation in a positive setting. It's a strength-based approach to the work that we do. We appreciate the second chance, we truly do, but in some never had a first chance. So the second chance is really first chance. So we appreciate all the effort, all of you really highlighting this. There's a lot of negativity in our community, but this is very beautiful to highlight the good things that are going on to really balance the scales of what's taking place out there. So we appreciate everyone that's here, all of the people that work behind the scenes to make this happen, and all the community mentors, and those 300 and plus that recently got removed. I make a personal invitation to you to use your lived experience, your pain, your hurt, the trauma from the past, to use that as an influence now to help youth that are in that lifestyle. They say prevention and intervention sometimes doesn't work with gang members. I beg to differ on that. It depends who's doing it. And a lot of these guys that are in the gang members from the past are the influencers now to help be the solution instead of the problem. So thank you all.
Thank you, Pastor Sandoval. Also with us today is Reverend Gerald Brown, who's the City of San Diego's Executive Director of Police Community Relations. As part of UAMIC and in his current role, Reverend Brown has worked for years on building healthy and safe communities marked by dignity for all. Thank you, Reverend Brown, for being here.
Good morning. I want to start by saying thank you to the District Attorney, to her staff, for doing an outstanding job. This is a monumental day in San Diego. Not only have she removed 330 members from the gang injunction, there was 330 families. 330 families now that have an opportunity in life to see their folks move forward. On behalf of the Mayor of San Diego, thank you. On behalf of the Police Chief, who's not here, thank you and your staff. And we see this day as a day of new beginnings. And we see the opportunity for these families to move forward and to strengthen San Diego. So thank you again for everything that you're doing, and we're looking forward to doing even more. Thank you.
Thank you. Really appreciate these fine folks coming here, and Dr. Hood treats people by day as a doctor, and at night he works on trauma issues through gang prevention and intervention. It's really a great day. So we will be conducting this review once a year, and we'll continue to notify individuals who are removed from the injunction enforcement. So we'll continue to take these proactive steps, but we also have a simple form that we developed so that if we miss someone, or if someone is close, they're a few months away from that 5-year mark, or there's a reason that they really need to be removed because they've got a job waiting or something that is pressing, we will take a look at it. In the meantime, anyone wanting to find out if they've been removed or would like to petition for removal can go to SanDiegoDA.com and click on Contact Us. Finally, I think it's important to put the removal of these names in context with the ongoing and very serious problem of gang violence in our county. It's true, gang-related crime is down, in particular gang-related murders, but this is not by accident. This took a lot of effort from law enforcement, from the community, from neighborhoods standing up for themselves, from those relations. But the threat for gang violence clearly remains. I want to be clear that our children and families deserve neighborhoods that are safe and healthy, where they can go to school, they can go to their parks, they can go to their worship places, they can be at home and be safe from any intimidation or threat from gangs, from being bullied, or from hearing bullets at night or in the daytime. Just this year, we saw the horrific murder of 50-year-old Kathleen Kennedy, who was coming out of church when she was killed in the crossfire of gang warfare. The gangster killer in that case, due to the great work by Chief Carter and his team and our team at the DA's office, was convicted and will spend the rest of his life in prison. We're committed to protecting our communities. We're also committed to fairness and equality and second chances where they are earned. We believe those two goals are consistent and can be accomplished together and without conflict, and we will pursue both. You only have to watch and read the news to know there's too many shootings, stabbings, and beatings that are motivated by gang membership. We're also seeing a significant gang crime related to drugs and human trafficking. On an average, our DA's gang division handles 35 to 40 gang-related murders at any given time. So it's clear we need to continue to be sure that our prosecutions continue in a fair and equal manner, but that we are looking to remove those collateral consequences and roadblocks that may be preventing people from rejoining their neighborhoods as productive members. And today is a big step in that direction. I can tell you that I think people were surprised to get the letters from us. I got a lot of messages on Facebook, on texting, people hearing about it and being surprised to get a letter from the DA. Usually it's not a good letter if you get a letter from the DA and then they read it and they see that it's different. And I think the judges were surprised but were very supportive to see us taking this proactive step. So thank you. Do you have any questions?
For viewers that may not be familiar with the injunction process, could you explain